behind the plate as well. This lineup will face Al Leiter, 13-12 after a 2-5 start, but it's what he's done down the stretch. They play the music of Jersey's Bruce Springsteen when he takes the mound here at Shea. Gerald Williams, who has swung the bat well in the postseason after a .275 regular year, steps in to start it. And a called strike one from Charlie Relaford, who has the plate. Ed Rapuano at first, Jerry Lane at second, Jerry Crawford at third, Ed Montague left field line, Jeff Kellogg right field line. A year ago, Al Leiter was 17-6. This year, 13-12, ERA 4.23. Against the Braves, he was 1-2 this season. But the one victory came in the season's final week. 2-1.
He did not have a great season, but he has pitched great down the stretch. He says he's been able to focus better, and he's been able to pitch all the big games for the Mets down the stretch and winning most of them.
Williams cuts and misses, 2-2. Leiter has the good fastball. He's added a big curveball the last couple of years, and a changeup. He'll run away from right-handed hitters, but especially effective for him against righties is that cutter in on their hands. The 2-2 rolled foul into the Brave dugout.
If you're the Braves early in the ball game, you try to be a little more patient with Leiter, because a lot of times early in the ball game he'll be his own worst enemy. High fastballs out of the strike zone, sliders out of the strike zone. But Gerald Williams is not a guy that's very patient at the plate.
Full count.
In fact, in game 2, he saw 3 pitches, and he had swung the bat and he hit each one. He was 2 for 3 in that ball game at that point after seeing only 3 pitches.
And he walks him to start game 3.
And that's the problem that Leiter will have with his riding fastball up and out of the strike zone a lot. He gets up in the strike zone and he'll throw the cutter low. So if you're patient, you can usually take him deep into the count. But the first 2 hitters are really not that patient. Boone, free swinger. Gerald Williams, a free swinger.
Although he is a left-hander, Leiter doesn't have a pickoff move anything like the Mets game 2 starter Kenny Rogers. Olerud in front of the runner at first, and ball 1 in tight to Brett Boone. Kenny Rogers picked a couple of Braves off early in game 2.
And I thought that was very important because it stopped the Braves running game completely.
On the inside corner, 1-1.
I still feel the Braves want to test Mike Piazza. He has not made a good throw in this series to second base so far.
But Rogers' move is so good. Eddie Perez, who was at the plate when he picked off Andrew Jones, said he picked Andrew off, but I swung at the pitch.
There you see John Olerud. He doesn't take a traditional stance at first base. He's not near the bag. He plays off a little bit into the hole, and then he moves back and forth.
And the 1-1. Williams away from first. Leiter sets and delivers 1-2. A bouncer back to the mound. He looks at second, but takes the sure out at first and pulls Olerud off the bag, and everybody's safe. Well, it should have been a sure out, but Leiter botched the play.
The third baseman.
Well, he never turned his entire body or his shoulders towards the target at first base. Watch, he decides he was going to go to second base. Right at this point, he's going to second base. Now, see, his shoulders are never turned toward first base, so he throws it off the bag and he pulls Olerud off.
And now the crowd chanting Larry, Larry, which is the given name of Chipper Jones. He hates to be called Larry. Although that is his dad's name. And he got the nickname Chipper because he was so much like his dad, a chip off the old block. As we told you in game 2, Mike Piazza says, "Hi, Larry," to Chipper Jones every time he steps in the batter's box. Piazza's reasoning, "I refuse to call a grown man Chipper."
Well, he's 0 for 3 in the 2-game series in Atlanta, but he had 5 bases on balls.
2-0. It leads me to wonder, when Piazza sees Lawrence Peter Berra, does he call him Larry because you shouldn't call a grown man Yogi?
I'm sure out of respect he calls him Yogi.
just asking. 2 on, nobody out. And the 2-0 pitch. Time is called. Leiter in a jam of his own making here in the top half of the first. He walks Williams, and then his error allows Boone to reach.
And very unlike the Mets, because they only gave up 30 unearned runs the entire season.
Hit into shallow right, Alfonso back.
And that's the good cutter from Leiter as you hear the fans.
And the fans all over Jones as he returns to the dugout. While Rocker has continued to take jabs at the New York crowd, Jones backed off in the last couple of days. He says, "The last thing I want is a war of words. I respect the Mets." He had said after the last series of the regular season here, "I guess the Mets are done. Their fans will have to go home and put on their Yankee stuff." But the Mets regrouped and got the wild card, and the Braves have to see him again. Williams breaks for third. Piazza throws to second, and it's over his head and into center field. Williams scores. Heading for third is Boone. Now here are the Mets, who made only 68 errors all year. Easily the lowest figure for a full season in the history of baseball. They've made 2 errors in this inning and 5 errors so far in this series.
Well, they choose to throw to second base instead of third base. Now watch. Williams gets a good jump. Piazza doesn't figure he has a chance, so he tries to throw to second, and then he stumbles, and the ball goes into center field. Williams comes in to score. Boone goes over to third base. Now watch Piazza. See, he slips right there, and the ball stays up and goes over the head of Alfonso at second base.
And now Jordan sends the 0-1 pitch into shallow left center. Boone is tagging. Mora makes the catch. They're going to test his arm. The throw to the plate. He is. If he held it out, and he did hold it. Boone checking on Piazza after the collision. A good, clean, tough play. Piazza held on. Mora in just his second major league start in center field. The catch and the gun.
Perfect one-hop throw. Piazza has a plate block. Nothing for Boone to do but try to run over him. It's an excellent play by Mora in center field to give him a perfect hop. As you can see from catcher cam, quite a collision there at home plate.
Looks like earthquake footage.
See, Piazza has the plate blocked, so Boone doesn't have any place to go. He can't slide and get home, so he just tries to run over him.
The Braves get 1. Piazza gets a headache, and we'll be back. Game 3.
With Tom Glavine, you know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to pitch the same way to every right-handed hitter. You just have to combat the fact that he's going to pitch you on the outside corner.
Henderson removed early from game 2 because the flu bug had bitten him. Back in the lineup for game 3 and taking strike 1.
Ricky told me before the ball game that he was going to move closer to the plate and make Glavine have to jam him.
Tom gets ahead of him 0-2.
But Glavine will not ever give in to a hitter. He just stays out there on the outside corner or just off, and he changes speeds out there. When he comes inside, it's going to be a ball anyway. He's just doing it for effect. So I think it's a great idea for right-handed hitters to move up on Glavine. Doesn't mean you're going to have more success, but I think you'll feel better about yourself and get the better swings.
Got the inside corner, and on 3 pitches, Ricky Henderson sits down.
Didn't work at that at bat.
John Olerud.
And he states his case to Charlie Relaford. If Relaford is giving Glavine the corners, especially the outside edge, in this case it was the inside corner, could be a long night for Met hitters.
And let's take a look at the defense. Brian Hunter at first base, 4 errors the entire season, and he made a couple of great plays in game 2. Very good defensive first baseman.
Olerud takes ball 1. Other than a few pinch hitting assignments, Olerud hasn't hit anywhere but number 3 all season long until tonight. A ball and a strike. Glavine was 3-0 against the Mets this year. His ERA against New York 1.71. And Tom is 13-5 lifetime against New York.
Well, we're going to have to check Charlie Relaford's strike zone, because these hitters are not going to have any chance if he's going to call the low one, the outside corner, and the inside corner.
That one dips beneath the knees, 3-1. And he walks him.
Glavine really isn't any tougher on left-handed hitters than he is right-handed hitters. He's actually tougher on right-handers because he stays on the outside part of the plate. Left-handers, he really doesn't have a big pitch to get them out with. The way most left-handers handle left-handed hitters is with the curveball. He doesn't throw a lot of curveballs.
When hitting second this year, Edgardo Alfonso hit .318. Below 100 when not hitting second. Takes a strike. Tom Glavine had an off year by his standards, although he did win his last 3 starts to take his final regular season record of 14-11. His ERA of 4.12 was his highest since he posted a 4.28 for a last place Atlanta team in 1990. Alfonso fouls it out of play. And let's go to Craig Sager.
We have now confirmed that Mike Piazza did suffer a mild concussion on that collision with Brett Boone. Now, the report from Fred Hina was that he was very dizzy and he had to sit down. He's finally coming out of it. If that had not been the 3rd out of the 1st inning, he may have had to leave the ball game, but he's had a little bit of time to recover, and he is now in the on-deck circle. Bob?
All right, Craig, thanks. A ball and 2 strikes to Alfonso. The Braves are carrying 3 catchers. The Mets only 2. Todd Pratt, the division series hero, there he is, with the extra inning homer that beat the Diamondbacks in game 4, is their only reserve catcher.
Bob, Tom Glavine gave up 18 first inning runs in his 35 starts.
2-2 to Alfonso.
So he often has a few problems in the first inning.
Bobby Cox, great candidate for manager of the year. Through the first 2 games, it's been as if he's been playing chess and Valentine's been playing checkers. But things can change. Foul tip back into the glove of Perez, who holds it, and Alfonso is down on strikes.
Good fastball here from Glavine. The ball actually starts toward the outside part of the plate and moves on the outside edge. And Alfonso cannot catch up with it. Piazza's had a lot of success over the years against Glavine, so this may be just what he needs to try to get him out of this mini slump that he's in.
Strike one. He's .372 lifetime with 4 homers against Glavine. 0 for 7 in this series. And now, according to Craig Sager's report, a bit woozy as he stands in the bottom of the first. Fouled off. The season has taken its toll on Piazza. The aching thumb most recently. He was on the disabled list earlier in the year with a bad knee. When a guy can hit like he can, do you want him to endure the wear and tear of simply being behind the plate, the up and down, and then those collisions like we just saw in the top of the first? Ultimately, do you want him to be a catcher? 1-2.
That was one of the things that was discussed when he was with the Dodgers. How long are we going to let him catch? Move him to another position, and we will keep his bat in the lineup. But I agree with you. I saw another great catcher, Johnny Bench, and his knees just wore out from catching every day. And you're right, it takes its toll over the course of a season on a guy like Piazza. And maybe eventually he will have to move to first base.
Just looking at him and coupling that with Craig Sager's report, if this were a regular season game, Todd Pratt would be catching right now. He reaches for it, punches it to the right side. Brett Boone up with it, and the Mets are done in the bottom of the first after 1 at Shea in game 3. The Braves lead it 1-0. Drew Jones, Eddie Perez, and Brian Hunter. The Braves, with an unearned run in the first, lead it 1-0. Jones had 3 singles in game 2. Beginning to shake out of a slump, hits that ball hard but foul. In addition to the important starts this year, which we told you about concerning Al Leiter, the most important start of his career came in game 7 of the 1997 World Series for the Florida Marlins. A no decision, but a strong outing, and he left his team with a chance to win, which they did in extra innings. Pop back 0-2. I remember you said that night, Joe, that Leiter was a changed pitcher from even earlier that same season. He always had the good fastball and the cutter in on the hands of right-handed hitters, but he was changing speeds more and going with breaking stuff that night, and he now looks back on that night as the game in which he became a complete pitcher. Bounces that one up there 1-2.
Well, there's no doubt he is a completely different pitcher since that ball game. Every time I've seen him, I've been impressed with him. The only problems he ever has is that he gets a little erratic with his fastball early in the ball game. If he settles down, when he gets a chance to settle down, I mean, he can pitch to high in the strike zone and low in the strike zone, and that's a definite plus.
Outside 2-2.
Most pitchers have to pitch either low in the strike zone or up. Glavine, for instance, stays down in the strike zone. Leiter has height to his advantage. He pitches up and down.
It gets away from Piazza as Jones strikes out. Perhaps it's just coincidence, or perhaps Mike is still feeling the effects of that collision with Brett Boone in the top half of the first. But it's a strikeout. The ball gets away, and Jones is at first base.
But this is a tough ball for Mike to catch. If you watch, it's a slider or a cut fastball, and it really slides across the zone, and he tries to block it with his body, and he can't get a glove on it. I mean, he just kind of slides across the plate. And watch the angle. The ball is going so far inside. He just tries to catch it right there and block it, but he couldn't do that, and the ball got away from him. But you're right. I mean, it looked like it should have been knocked down.
Strikeout, wild pitch.
And when a guy gets run over at home plate, as he did, Brett Boone's shoulder went into his chin, and I think that's the reason that he was having the dizzy spells.
Perez swinging a hot bat, takes a strike. Again, we go to Craig Sager.
Well, trainer Fred Hina compared Piazza's mild concussion to a football player getting his bell rung. He said a football game, you pull him out for a couple of series, see how he responds. In baseball, of course, once you're out, you can't go back in. And yes, Bob, he did confirm if it would have been a regular season game, he'd be in the dugout.
So in an inning plus, the Mets have committed 2 errors, a wild pitch, Leiter walked the game's leadoff man. Uncharacteristic, at least based on what they've done earlier this year. Here's Ordonez, and he can't make a play that would be spectacular for anyone else, but is close to routine for him. What's going on here?
Well, he actually caught the ball, and he lost it as he was trying to transfer it to his throwing hand. They're going to call it a base hit, but watch, you'll see that he does get to the ball. Now he's there, and watch, he catches it, slides into it as he always does. Now he tries to transfer it, and that's where the problems were caused. He caught the ball. He's in position to throw to second base, but he loses the handle.
So the Braves' first hit is an infield hit. They're not pounding Leiter, but he's been in trouble. Mora's catch and throw helped him out in the first. A double play to end the inning.
Sometimes when you're as spectacular as this Mets infield is, you try to make a double play on every ball. You should have made sure of one there rather than trying to turn a spectacular double play. You always make sure of one first if you're an infielder.
Ball one to Brian Hunter. Strange doings at Shea, at least at the outset of game 3. Bruce Benedict, the coach, alongside Valentine. The 1-0 pitch to Hunter is inside. Brian Hunter, as you may recall, hit a big home run for the Braves in his first tour of duty with Atlanta in Game 7 of the 1991 NLCS off John Smiley at Pittsburgh as they won the pennant that night. Back then he was a prospect. Now he's a journeyman, been with several big league clubs and back with Atlanta. At first base tonight, Leiter turns and doesn't throw.
I think Leiter has to be very careful with the base runners because you do not know how well Piazza can throw in this ball game. And if you're Bobby Cox, you want to test him again if you get an opportunity to do so here.
And Leiter's behind 3-0. Walt Weiss on deck. A called strike. Leiter will be 34 in a few days. He's 6'4", 225. This is his 13th year in the major leagues. His third time in postseason with 3 different teams. 93 Blue Jays, 97 Marlins, now the Mets. A broken bat. Ventura's got it. And a throw to second to double Jones off. What was Andrew doing?
That's just a bad base running play there because Andrew was actually trying to sneak away to steal third base. He was trying to time it. He didn't get his timing right, so he was almost caught halfway. So when Ventura catches the ball, you'll see it's not even close at second base. Now watch him. He's trying to, right there, he's trying to steal third. The ball's hit, and he just continues on. Just not a good base running play right there by Andrew Jones. But he got caught in between stealing the bag and taking his lead.
So with 2 out and Perez at first, here's Weiss. Ball 1 to him. Weiss is from Suffern County, which is about 30 miles north of Yankee Stadium. So he's one visitor who pretty much knows the terrain around New York. Bounce foul. His dad used to run a magazine stand at Grand Central Station. His mom worked in an Avon factory in Suffern. He was the 1988 American League Rookie of the Year with Oakland. He'll turn 36 in a few weeks and almost lost his starting job to Jose Hernandez, but has reclaimed it in the postseason. They check down at first. No. 2-1.
Take a look and see if this is basically what the umpire at first baseman sees, and you can see that he did check his swing. This is what Piazza saw. That's why he asked. He had to make sure he caught the ball. He wasn't watching the barrel of the bat.
2-2 now.
And that's why they allow you to ask the umpire at first base, because the home plate umpire has to watch the pitch to see if it's a strike.
And the fans pick up the volume in anticipation of a strikeout. And they get it. 2 Ks in the inning for Leiter. To the bottom of the second, 1-0 Atlanta. Glavine faces Glavine. Benny in right field tonight to give them an extra right-handed bat in the middle of the order, hitting 5th. 0-2.
Bob, in game 2, so much was made of Bob Valentine not taking the pitcher out, Rogers, in time. And I think part of that was because he did not have his bench coach, Bruce Benedict, sitting next to him. Benedict a lot of times will push him over the edge when he's thinking. He's thinking, should I take him out? Should I leave him in? And that's what your bench coach is for. He'll say, I think he's done, Bobby. And he's out at third base because Cookie Rojas has been suspended. And we mentioned that before the ballgame the other day, that would cause a problem eventually.
Rolled to short. Weiss is up with it. And Glavine is gone. With views from high above, the Bud 1 Airship, Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball, and the NLCS. Well, that move may have weakened the Mets, talking about the coaching situation, in 2 spots, because apparently there was some miscommunication between Benedict and both runners and hitters in terms of signs in the first couple of games in Atlanta.
Well, you get accustomed to looking down at one third base coach, and his rhythm is different than the one that replaces him, and you just can't seem to find the right touch, because they have so many different ways of giving signals now. They have 3 or 4 different indicators.
Robin Ventura dropped to 6th. A ball and a strike. Robin hasn't hit Atlanta pitching all year, and he's been shackled through the first 2 games of this series.
And what they've done in this series is they've just pounded the outside corner with Ventura, and then when Rocker comes in, he throws him a lot of breaking balls. Right out there. That's where they've pitched him the entire series, and he has not been able to handle it. Let's see Robin's stance and see how he approaches this ball. He's still staying a little bit away from the outside corner.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
If they're pitching you one way, I think you have to make them adjust. If you're not hitting the pitches that they're throwing you, move closer to the plate and make them try to come inside. If they're pitching you inside and they're getting you out, move off the plate.
A little tapper. Glavine's got it. Good fielding pitcher. Flip to Hunter. Glavine, a good all-round athlete. Good hitter for a pitcher. Fields his position well. Former hockey player growing up in Concord, Massachusetts.
And watch Glavine again right on the outside part of the plate. And this is a very defensive swing there from Robin Ventura, and that's why they've been successful. They're able to hit the outside corner. As I've said at the beginning of this series, the reason the Braves are good is because they can pitch to a hitter's weakness. There, he makes Ventura go off the plate to get that pitch. If they find a weakness, they can pitch to it.
Ventura now 6 for 50 this year against Atlanta pitching. Melvin Mora has had some big moments the last couple of weeks. He's at the plate now. He scored from third on the wild pitch against Pittsburgh in game 162 that gave them a chance to play the wild card playoff game against Cincinnati. Threw a runner out at the plate in the division series against Arizona. Lines this one to right for a base hit. Filled in for Ricky Henderson in Atlanta and had a home run. And in the first inning tonight, his catch and peg to the plate takes care of Boone and short circuits Atlanta's opening inning.
And here's the home run he hit off Millwood. I mean, he pounded it to left field, and that gave the Mets a 2-0 lead in that ball game. Of course, they could not hold it, but he gave them some added offense.
So here's Ordonez with Mora at first and 2 out.
Here's the situation. If you're the Mets, I think you should try to go ahead and steal this base. If he makes it, you get a chance to score the run. If he doesn't, you've got your 8th place hitter leading off the inning next inning, and maybe Ordonez gets on and you have Leiter bunt him over.
Not going, and Ordonez fouls it off. We've mentioned that Ordonez is an improved offensive player, and he is. He used to be an auto out. This year he hit 258, but to put it in context, only 3 men who had enough at-bats to qualify for the batting title, more than 500 plate appearances, hit under 250 in the entire National League this year. There's such an explosion in offense that all these numbers need to be reinterpreted. In the dirt, and Perez controls it. Morris stays put.
The one thing that he did do, Bobby, with his 258 batting average was drive in 60 runs. And that's really a lot of runs driven in for a guy hitting 8th in the lineup.
Especially in the National League, where an 8th hitter tends to be pitched around more than in a DH league. Morris swiped 18 in the minors. Only saw limited duty at the major league level. In fact, his homer in this series in Game 2 was his first major league homer, regular or postseason. He goes. A bouncing ball, and Boone had vacated the position. Runners will be at first and third. Boone going over to cover. Couldn't reverse his field in time to make the play.
Good job by Moore to take off, and Ordonez finds the right side. Watch Boone. One of the things, he plans so deep he has to go right away, and the ball is hit behind him. Now see how deep Boone is? That means you have to take off a little sooner just to get there, and in doing that you give up your position too quickly, and the ball is hit behind him, and that'll allow Leiter a chance to drive in the tying run. But even if he's out, now they go to the top of the order next inning.
And he takes the ball as Leiter stepped in. Another Springsteen song over the PA, appropriate after the hit and run just worked. Born to Run. Glavine facing Leiter, who's not much of a hitter. Remember, he was in the American League earlier in his career. Just 105 this year for Leiter. And that's a strike. Two on, two out, and the 1-1 pitch. Misses. Valentine to Benedict. Benedict to Leiter with the signs. Mora away from third. Ordonez from first. 2-2.
Well, if you're Leiter, the last thing you want to do is chase a pitch out of the strike zone, and he does so here with Glavine. This is a fastball up and in, and he goes up and out of the strike zone to get it. He was very patient to get to 2-1, but now he gets the high fastball in and could not resist taking a swing at it.
And the 2-2. Well, he hangs in. Not going to fool anybody here. Ordonez isn't going to run unless it gets to 3-2. There's 2 strikes, so he can't be taking. Mora dancing down the line, trying to distract Glavine. And now it is a full count. So Ordonez will get a head start from first. Ricky Henderson on deck. Hunter playing behind Ordonez, who takes off, and Leiter fans to end the inning and might have swung at ball 4. He knows it. Back to Shea after this. Now the roles are reversed. Glavine bats against Leiter. Tom hit only 138 this year. That's atypical for him, though. He's hit as high as 289 in a season. He's a better than 200 hitter lifetime. Fakes the bunt, takes a strike. I mentioned earlier that Glavine had been a hockey player in his youth. Wayne Gretzky was at Game 1 in Atlanta, sitting in a box seat close to the action. and Glavine sent one of his gloves out to the great one just so he could protect himself in case a foul ball came slicing into the stands. And afterwards, Glavine was joking, you know, if I had played hockey with Wayne, he'd have to move to left wing because I was a center.
I'm sure Wayne got a good laugh out of that.
The 1-2 pitch, sliced foul. All the Braves' mainstays in that starting rotation, Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, are good hitting pitchers. A big chopper. Leiter has it, and this time his throw to Olerud is true. NBC extends its coverage of the NLCS to the internet at msnbcsports.com. Log on and check out post-game audio interviews with players from both the Mets and the Braves. Plus, look at the series from a player's perspective as the Reds' Barry Larkin provides exclusive analysis, including a breakdown of the pitching matchups. msnbcsports.com, the official website of NBC Sports. Here's Gerald Williams, who walked, stole a base, advanced on an error, scored. Ordonez got it.
That's more like Ordonez and also more like Gerald Williams swinging at the first pitch. This is one of the things I really like about Ordonez as an infielder. Watch how he gets in front of the ball. Catches it out in front, and he's got a very strong and accurate arm across the diamond.
Here's Boone. He reached on Leiter's error in the first, and then knocked Piazza woozy with a collision at the plate. But Mike held on to the ball, and Brett was gone. Leiter's 1-0. This is high. Hot against the Astros. Back to his natural level, really, in this series. He hit .252 for the season. 3-0.
And one of the things they've been doing to get Boone out has been getting him to chase the fastball up and out of the strike zone. He likes the high fastball, but every once in a while he goes up a little bit too high to get it.
Taking all the way, and it's a strike. Leiter pitching in shirt sleeves on a cool night, has his sign from Piazza. Full count. And the payoff pitch. Grabbed on the short hop by Ordonez, and to Olerud to complete a 1-2-3 third. Still 1-0 Braves.
Bases loaded instead of sitting on the bench. But the one thing to remember, it doesn't matter who you are, Tom Glavine will never just give in to you.
Ricky Henderson taking his time getting set against Glavine. And the bottom of the third begins with ball one. Glavine is an ideal guy. I guess they have several of them, Smoltz and Maddox, in that respect, because they've been through the postseason fire so often. But a guy well suited to pitch a road game in a hostile environment like this. He's had over 20 postseason starts. A line to the left that will drop for a hit. Gerald Williams over to grab it. And Ricky leads off with a single.
And I like what Ricky did there. No matter what, he knows that Glavine's going to go back outside. He's going to pitch him outside. Here again, that pitch outside. Ricky's moved up on the plate, so he was able to handle it. This pitch is fastball away. Goes out and gets it and pulls it to left field for a base hit. Glavine struck him out the first time coming inside, but Ricky doesn't believe that he'll pitch him inside consistently, so I think that's smart.
This is the first time Henderson has been on base in this series. He stole 6 for 6 in the division series against Arizona.
Glavine doesn't have a great move to first base, but he works at holding the runner. He really works at it. He'll give you a little quick move to the plate. He'll shorten his stride. He'll do a lot of different things to throw you off at first base, but he doesn't have a great pickoff move.
Ball 1 to Olerud, who walked in the first. Although he always hits third, at least prior to tonight, he's a guy in a way well suited to bat second. He got over 100 walks. He can handle a bat. If you want to play hit and run, he can do it. Ricky takes off. Ball hit toward the middle of the diamond. Weiss gets it over to Boone, and they turn the double play despite the fact that Henderson was running.
Well, that was a hit and run, and I think it was a good idea to try hit and run in that situation. But he hit the ball back up the middle. If he hits it any place else, it works. See, Ricky's not stealing. He's taking off after he throws it. You can see he's looking in at the batter, so it's a definite hit and run, and he tries to break it up, but Boone does a good job of coming across and getting rid of it. So you watch, he's trying to go the other way, but he gets jammed. Perfect double play. That's the only way you can make the double play when a guy's running, is if the ball is grounded near the bag.
So with the bases clean, it's Alfonso taking ball 1. So Ricky finally on base, but just as quickly erased. There's a strike. Early in the year, the feeling was that whether it was his mechanics, and Glavine says that was part of it, that he was striding too much toward the middle of the rubber instead of off to one side as he usually had, or whether it was the fact that the strike zone was being interpreted differently by most umpires. One way or the other, Glavine was not in a groove.
I talked to some people in Atlanta earlier, and Maddox and Glavine were both struggling early, but they would not say it was a strike zone. There's Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach. They would not blame it on the strike zone. They say they were just getting too much of the plate.
Here's his 1-2 pitch, and it holds there.
Well, there's Ricky. He said he felt much better today when I talked to him around the batting cage. He still looks like he may be a little under the weather, or he's upset that he didn't steal the base. Well, he definitely rolled at Boone. He did all he could to break up the double play. Boone just turned it perfectly.
Way outside and high, 2-2. Of course, Ricky gives you more facial expressions than a silent film actor, so you really can't be sure what his state of mind is. That question has bedeviled managers in many cities for many years. Struck him out. Strikeout number 4 through 3 innings for Glavine, who leads it 1-0. Head-to-head.
Tough assignment, but definitely not impossible.
Close to impossible if they don't win tonight. No team has ever come back in any series from 0-3 in baseball history. Chipper Jones pops it out of play. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, you mentioned the facial expressions of Ricky Henderson. This time, he hurt his back. He's out there stretching it right now with his right hand on the back. When he tried to break up that double play, he was off balance when he went into second base. And his back right now is hurting.
Thanks again, Craig. The 0-1 to Chipper Jones. He swings and misses. Jones was in such a red-hot groove as Ricky continues to try and shake it off. Jones was in such a red-hot groove down the stretch, and then teams began pitching around him. Sometimes that'll take you out of your rhythm.
Definitely does. And what happened, Bob, is I saw a couple of ball games. They were trying to pitch around him, throwing him change-ups low and away, even on 3-0, and he was swinging at them. And what was happening, he was getting himself out, and he lost the groove that he was in.
Leiter's 1-2 pitch. Up high, 2-2.
The last at bat, Leiter kept going away, and then he threw the cut fastball in on him, riding in on his hands.
Hit toward the hole, and it's by Ventura. And Jones is going to try to test Rickey Henderson, and Rickey Henderson guns him down.
Well, Rickey's kind of laughing, said, don't try that again on me. It's a slider that hangs in the middle of the plate. He rips it. No chance for Ventura to make this play, but Rickey, watch him. He hustles over, gets it, takes nothing for granted, fires a strike to second base, and look at this. Out by a long shot is Chipper Jones, as you see Edgardo waiting for him. Chipper thinking that Rickey might have nonchalanted the ball, but Rickey plays it great. And you can see Leiter saying, come on, come on.
Brian Jordan cuts and misses. Second man the Braves have lost on the bases early in this game. Good play or not?
Well, I don't think it's a good play to get thrown out of second base with no one out, but I think he was anticipating Rickey being slow getting to the ball.
Broken bat roller, Ordonez on the big hop. That takes care of Jordan. So Jones out trying to stretch a single into a double, and Chipper still is without an extra base hit in the postseason. A season in which he hit 45 home runs and probably will be the MVP.
Well, his being thrown out actually affected what happened to Brian Jordan. They threw him inside, they jammed him, but because there's no one on base, Ordonez is able to play over in the hole. With a runner at first base, he's got to play closer to second base for the double play, and that could have been a very difficult play for Ordonez.
Andrew Jones struck out in the second, but strike three was a wild pitch, and he reached first. Ball one from Leiter. New York fans are familiar with Andrew Jones, especially Yankee fans. He homered in his first two World Series at bats at Yankee Stadium in 1996. Braves left the Bronx with a 2-0 lead and didn't win again until 1997. Yankees won 4 straight and upset them in that 96 World Series. Inside, 2-0.
Now Leiter actually pitches to Andrew Jones' strength. He likes the ball middle of the plate in, and he's a good fastball hitter, so he likes the cutter in and he likes the fastball in, and those are the strengths that Leiter tries to pitch to.
Jones asks for time, although he doesn't leave the batter's box. And here's the 2-0 pitch. Ball 3. In August and September, Andrew Jones was not the run producer the Braves hoped he would be. But he's come alive in this series after doing very little against the Astros in the division series. 3-1. He's just 22 years old, from Curacao in the Caribbean. Already a Gold Glove center fielder. And Bobby Cox calls as good as anyone he's ever seen play center field, including Willie Mays.
Well, he said he didn't see enough of Mays, but you're right. He says he's the best that he's ever seen. I have to say that he's very, very good, but I still think Willie Mays was the best that I've ever seen.
I'm not putting anybody at Willie Mays' level,
right.
But this guy is as close as anyone's going to get, at least among active players. He's right there with Ken Griffey Jr. defensively. Rolled foul, still 3-2. Now Barry Bonds, the fans are reacting because the ball went into the Atlanta dugout. They're happy to see the Braves have to scramble. Barry Bonds, who is Willie Mays' godson, says that this guy, Andrew Jones, catches balls in center field that are just a joke. And he says he has a chance to be the best defensive center fielder ever. That's high respect. In the air to left, Rickey Henderson finishes the Atlanta fourth. No runs ahead, but with Jones lost at second, Mike Piazza will start it in the bottom of the fourth. 0 for 1 tonight, 2 for 17 in the postseason. Both of his hits singles. And a short while ago, he was seeing stars after the collision at the plate with Brett Boone. Foul ball, strike one.
Well, what happened was Boone hits him right under the chin. Watch the impact here right there, and that's why he was woozy. Right there under the chin with his left shoulder. And as we told you earlier, if this was a regular season game, Mike would probably be out of the ball game.
Hit toward the hole. He's got a base hit.
This pitch is actually out of the strike zone. Watch, it's low and out of the strike zone, away, right there, almost on the ground. But Mike Piazza going that way. This is excellent hitting. He knows Glavine's going to pitch him away. He goes that way, and he grounds it through the hole on the right side. There's no secret of how Glavine's going to pitch every right-handed hitter. They just have to make the adjustments. He forces you to adjust to him. He doesn't adjust to what you're doing at the plate.
Glavine grounded to short his first time up. Swings and misses.
Same pitch.
Through 2 games, as we noted, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Mets were a combined 1 for 21. That hit by Piazza was the first hit from the reconstituted heart of their order tonight. Glavine fouls it off. Piazza is surrounded by Alfonso in the 3rd spot, and Glavine hitting 5th instead of Olerud and Ventura, as had been the case through the first 2 games and throughout the season, really, when all were healthy.
I think this was done to combat John Rocker, not to really help Piazza. You do not want those 2 left-handers together in the 8th and 9th inning, so Rocker can come in and pitch to them.
Called strike 3. The 5th strikeout for Glavine.
The one thing that I've seen Glavine do when he comes inside, usually he's coming in off the plate, but he's getting the call tonight when he comes inside. This is an 0-2 pitch, so it's pretty much a waste pitch normally, and you can see that Eddie Perez is off the plate inside. That pitch gets the inside corner, even though Perez pulls it back a little bit.
Ventura bounced to the mound and is only at bat. He takes a ball. Tom Glavine's career postseason record is just 9-11, which is kind of surprising but also misleading. His lifetime postseason ERA is right around 3, and better than that in the World Series. Fouled out of play. It's really the LCS that has been his bugaboo. He's 3-8 in League Championship Series play.
But the one thing to remember, Bob, he's facing better competition, but so are his hitters. They're facing usually the top 2 starters on the other team simply because they don't go deep into the rotations in the LCS.
A weak wave at it, 1-2. In the World Series, where theoretically the best competition should be the very best, Glavine is 4-3, but with an ERA of 1.75. So he's lost some tough decisions in the World Series to be just a game over 500. And Ventura goes down swinging. That's 6 for Glavine. Check out an all-new third watch on NBC.
NBC Sunday. See why more than 30.
Be throwing a little harder than I've seen him normally throw. And he's aiming the pitch to the outside corner like to Ventura. He's just eating that outside corner up with a good live fastball.
He's allowed the Mets 4 hits. As you see, all the outs either on the ground or by strikeouts. One of the 4 New York hits belongs to Piazza, who leads away from first. Another to Mora, who stands in now. In the air to right, coming on Brian Jordan, won't get to it. Piazza on his way to 3rd, and Mora's 2 for 2.
Even though Mora hits this ball toward the end of the bat, his approach is right. He's going the other way. And watch the pitches out there. See his front shoulder, it's going that way. He hits it toward the end of the bat, which allows it to fall in front of the right fielder, but his approach was proper. Let's take a look at Mike Piazza and see how he's running. 2 outs, he's going all the way. He's running pretty well right there. Doesn't seem to be affecting him on the base pass anyway.
What Melvin Mora has done the last few times he's played is pretty much assured that Sean Dunston will play only off the bench the rest of the postseason as long as the Mets are around. Dunston had gotten starts in the outfield, there he is, against left-handed pitching. But Mora's a much better defender out there, and he's also delivered with the bat.
He's definitely earning more and more playing time here with the Mets.
Ordonez singled his first time up.
We talked about the fact that Ordonez is not an out with runners in scoring position. 60 RBIs during the season from the 8th slot is excellent production.
5 New York hits off Glavine, all of them singles. Braves got a run in the top half of the first and lead it 1-0.
See Ordonez taking a shot towards right field.
Glavine's 1-1 pitch, foul to the screen.
And the one thing you have to know if you're hitting in this situation against Glavine is that whenever he's in trouble, he's going to go to his strength, and his strength is keeping the ball away. He has not used his changeup a lot tonight. It's been the sinker away and then coming inside every once in a while with the straight fastball.
Ordonez hits it down to Hunter, who goes to his knees to take it, steps on the bag, and the Mets strand 2. After 4, Glavine and the Braves lead it 1-0.
Come on, Mike. 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 Stop.
Eddie Perez against Leiter, smashes one by the diving Ventura and down the line for extra bases. Perez doesn't run well. Henderson threw a runner out earlier. This one is going to be close.
Well, they're waiting to see.
He did it again. He held the ball, and Perez is done. The second base umpire, Jerry Lane, just wanted to make 100% sure that Alfonso held the ball.
Well, Perez has a bad knee, and actually around first base, he stumbles a little bit. This ball seemed like it was going to be a double. Nice attempt there by Ventura to knock it down. And watch it rolls down the line. Ricky gets there very quickly, comes up and fires another strike. I mean, he's throwing it right on the mark. Look at this, right over the bag. All Alfonso has to do is grab it and make the tag. Right here, he's already in trouble. And Alfonso just makes the tag. Great hustle and great play in left field by Ricky Henderson.
Here's Brian Hunter, who lined into a double play his first time up.
Take a look at Perez. Now he catches his right cleat there as he tries to slide in there. And Al Leiter says, yes, my new best friend, Ricky Henderson, in left field.
For the second consecutive Atlanta inning, the first scorebook entry is the same. Single, runner out, 7-4, trying to stretch it. How many assists do you think Ricky had this season in 116 games in the outfield? 0.
Well, Ricky used to be a Gold Glove left fielder. That was probably 10 to 15 years ago.
2-1 to Brian Hunter. The Mets have 3 outfield assists in this ball game already. And the Braves also lost a runner on a line-out double play. Boone trying to tag from third, cut down at the plate at home in the top half of the first. 2 runners out trying to stretch singles into doubles. Andrew Jones wanders off second on a liner by Hunter to third, and he's doubled off. Hunter draws a 1-out walk.
Let's look at the 3 outfield assists by the Mets. There's the one that saves a run from Mora. And then we saw Ricky Henderson in the 4th inning throw out Chipper Jones, who is trying to stretch this single into a double. And here leading off the inning, Eddie Perez tries the same way. Look how accurate these throws are. Right to the bag. If those throws are 4 feet off either side, the runners would have been safe.
So Hunter at first with 1 out. Here's Walt Weiss, struck out and is only at bat. Called strike 1. Olerud playing in front of the runner. Leiter's pitch to Weiss. They want to check down at first, but there's no way he went on that one. And Ed Rapuano doesn't give Mike Piazza the call he hoped for. 1-1. Jim Gray reports from downstairs that in sliding into second base and being tagged out, Eddie Perez, as Jim put it, tweaked his knee a little bit, but he's okay and he'll stay in the game. Called strike 2.
There's Eddie trying to walk it off in the dugout.
What a weird game the Mets have had defensively already. 2 errors, a strikeout wild pitch to allow a man to reach first, but 3 outfield assists. The ridiculous and the sublime in 4 innings plus. Still 1-2. Pitcher Glavine is on deck. And Leiter steps off. The walk given to Hunter was Leiter's second. At times, Al can have trouble with his control. Fouled off, 1-2 it remains. Another 1-2 pitch. It's hit back through the middle, picked up by Alfonso. The flip to Ordonez. Hunter trying to take him out, but Ordonez, who snatched it with his bare hand, holds on.
Well, it is tough to get something through the middle of this infield because Ordonez and Alfonso play it so well. Now watch, this ball's hit directly back through the box. Leiter reaches for it. And look at this, right out over second base. Nice pickup there by Alfonso. He flips to Ordonez, and he doesn't even catch it cleanly. Watch, he reaches and grabs at it twice. Watch this. This is amazing. See, look at that. The ball actually came out of his hands. His hand was so quick that he was able to grab it on the second grasp.
Glavine bounced to the mound and is only at bat. Well, you think about this Ordonez. He is a magician in the field. He'd actually make a good magician. Can you imagine him? Sleight of hand, card tricks.
I mean, these are some of the. This is the quickest hand-eye coordination you're ever going to see. Watch this. The ball is in the air. He doesn't catch it. It bounces off his fingers. Now watch this. It bounces off his fingers right there. Look at that. And he reaches and grabs it again before it moves out of his range. That was great. It just shows you how good he is.
If he went to the wrong side of the law, he'd be a heck of a pickpocket. Hate to have him lurking behind you in Times Square.
I mean, and he did all that while avoiding, you know, the slide at second base by Brian Hunter.
The 0-2 to Glavine. Taken high.
Let's take a look here. Now watch. The ball comes up in his hand, in the air. Now he's got to avoid the runner right there. Look at that. He grabs it and avoids Brian Hunter at the same time. I mean, that's something you definitely shouldn't try at home.
And stay on the bag on top of it. Down goes Glavine. That puts an end to the Atlanta fifth. We're halfway through, and the run in the first is standing up.
That's his third assist in this ball game.
And a strike to Leiter. It's like a little league scene. What? I'm up. What? Who's got a bat? Henderson will be next. Leiter struck out in the second. Hits it hard, but right at Boone. And as Henderson walks to the plate, we remind you that bringing you the views from high above is the Bud One Airship. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball and the National League Championship Series.
Well, Bob, let's see if Glavine pitches it Ricky any differently this at bat. Ricky has crowded the plate. He struck him out in the first inning with a fastball inside. The next at bat, he went back away, and Ricky got a base hit. Let's see if he sticks with his game plan, which is pitching all the right-handed hitters away, or if he comes inside. I've seen him come inside more tonight than I have ever seen him in any one start. No, he starts him off away. Let's take a look at Ricky's two at-bats. He's tight on the plate. As you can see, strike three on the inside corner. Ricky didn't agree. Fastball away again. He goes out and gets it. So Ricky's 1 for 2.
Off-speed pitch floats high, a ball and a strike. Glavine has already struck out 6. His season high is 8. His career high is a dozen, but that was 8 years ago.
I tell you what, he's still throwing harder than I've seen him in a long time as well. I mean, he's got a good fastball. There's the sinker.
The only World Series the Braves have won during this sustained run of excellence in the 90s came in 1995, and it was Glavine who was the winner in Game 6. A masterful 8 innings of work, allowed only 1 hit, and that was a soft single by Tony Pena of the Indians. Wohlers worked the 9th, but it's one of the great starting performances in recent postseason history. That 8-inning stint by Glavine in Game 6 in '95.
You can see Glavine trying to come inside right there on Ricky Henderson, 2-2.
Fly ball to right. Easy play for Bryant. 2 gone in the 5th.
The first baseman.
Baseball doubleheader on 2 different networks tomorrow. What a game it should be at Fenway Park. Talk about a classic setting. Those two teams, a day game in October at Fenway, and Pedro Martinez against Roger Clemens. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Bob Brenly have the pleasure of calling it. Then we'll be back here at Shea, 7:30 Eastern Time, Braves and Mets.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to find a way to watch part of that game. Roger Clemens against Pedro Martinez. There's Ricky. He's very upset with himself for he's hit that's the first fly ball out that Glavine has had in this ball game.
1-1 to Olerud, who's walked and grounded into a double play.
But I think Ricky's upset because he was ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike, and Glavine made a good pitch. He made a pitcher's pitch, and Ricky went ahead and swung at it. That's not normally what Ricky would do. He would take it and take the count to 3-2.
Olerud hit .298 for the year, but his on-base percentage was way up there as he drew more than 120 walks. Fastball hit through the middle for a 2-out single. That's the 6th New York hit, all of them singles.
Well, Glavine has been staying away from the left-handed hitters as well as the right-handed hitters. He gets this one over the middle of the plate, and Olerud grounds it straight back up the middle. Watch, this one is pretty much in the middle of the plate, and he hits it right back through the middle. Good hitting by John Olerud. Edgardo Alfonso has had a lot of problems tonight with Glavine, and I thought that Glavine
First one to Edgardo, hits it in the air to right. Jordan barely has to move, and that'll do it. Olerud with a 2-out single, but he's left aboard after 5. 1-0 Atlanta. Now Leiter back to work. Ball 1.
Here's Ordonez way over here. Normally, this is the shortstop position, but what they're doing is playing to Leiter's strength. The cut fastball inside, they know that the right-handed hitters are going to probably pull it, so they're playing far more over here in the hole than they would be under normal circumstances. And it really helped him against Brian Jordan his last at bat.
A bouncing ball toward Alfonso. That takes care of Gerald Williams to start the Atlanta 6th. Temperatures tonight are in the low 50s, but there isn't much wind. When Al Leiter pitches on an exceptionally cold night, such as in Cleveland a couple of years ago in the World Series, when it was down around 35 degrees, and that cutter is bearing in on the fists of right-handed hitters, man, oh man, that's uncomfortable. Brett Boone reached on an error, grounded out, officially 0 for 2.
And we can take a look at how they're setting up defensively against these right-handed hitters. See the second baseman way over here. And there he hits right at the second baseman. Good. They're lining up very well against Leiter's cutter, and then he turns the sinker over and gets Gerald Williams to hit it to second base. If he throws the cutter, they're going to pull it. If he throws the sinker, they're going to hit it back through the middle.
2-1 to Boone. Mentioned Leiter's World Series start in Cleveland a couple of years ago. It reminds us that earlier today Mike Hargrove was fired as manager of the Cleveland Indians. That's the way of the world in baseball when a team doesn't make it as far as they'd hoped to. But Mike Hargrove has been a fine manager and a classy person for a long time. Hit to the hole. Ordonez skids, pops up, throws him out. Man, after a play like that, they should just walk out onto the field and present him the Gold Glove right now.
Again, he's playing over toward the hole, though, which helps him on this play. But, I mean, this is the play that we've normally grown accustomed to seeing him make. Look at that. He slides into it, sets himself, and as I said earlier, he got a very strong and accurate arm, and he makes a perfect throw to first base.
And they're razzing Chipper once again. 1 for 2. But even on his hit, he was thrown out trying to stretch his last time up.
Now, just watch this. He stops his momentum right there. He gets up, doesn't take a step, just counts on his arm and stretches his out and throws Brett Boone out at first base. Bob, I want to add, my sentiments to yours about Mike Hargrove. I was sad to hear that, he was fired today.
A stand-up guy, whether things went well or whether something disappointing happened, he stood in the line of fire. 2-1.
One of the very few changeups that Leiter has thrown in this ball game.
Where's Mo? This is a reference to Chipper's given name of Lawrence or Larry. Which brings up the question, where's Curlin? Foul ball. Not to mention the much underrated Shemp. Hello, Larry.
Very creative here in New York, huh?
The 2-2 pitch. Struck him out, and nothing. Saved the Mets putting some runs on the board in their half of the inning. Could please this Shea crowd more. Tura against Glavine. Mike grounded to second, then rolled a single to right. Just his 3rd hit of this postseason in 18 at-bats. A drive down the right field line, in the corner, foul. It seems the Braves are always in Piazza's way, whether it was with the Dodgers or now in New York.
You see Piazza going the other way, but he was a little tardy on that one, and you can see the big old hook on it. Slice is foul there.
Glavine's 0-1 to Mike is outside.
Take a look at where Mike Piazza hits the ball. 72 hits in left field this year, 27 center, but you can see he does go to right field quite often for a slugger.
And the 1-1 to him is up and in. The Braves have won 8 straight division titles, 3 of them in the West and 5 in the East. At the beginning of this run, they were constantly foiling the Dodgers and Mike Piazza. Now Piazza's got to go through Bobby Cox's team if the Mets are to make it to the World Series. Sharply hit to left. He's 2 for 3.
That at bat right there shows you how smart Mike Piazza is. He was going the other way. Glavine decided, I'm not going to pitch it out there where he can hit it. I'm going to come inside. So what does he do? Look at that. He just pulls it in the hole for a base hit. Smart hitting here by Piazza. Let's see how he's running down the line. Not real. He's a little wobbly there as he goes to first base. But that was smart hitting right there by Piazza.
Agbayani's 0 for 2. Hit .286 for the year with 14 home runs. Most of those homers came right out of the chute. He hit 10 in his first 73 major league at-bats.
You might look for a bunt in this situation sometimes, but Ventura has not been swinging the bat well, and he's the next hitter if Agbayani was to bunt.
High and away. Like another Hawaiian who previously played for the Mets, pitcher Sid Fernandez, Agbayani wears number 50 in honor of the 50th state. The 1-0 to him. Line foul.
Well, the Mets are trying to adjust to what Glavine's doing to them. They're trying to take the ball the other way. And we see that
well, they were reaching for the souvenir and the wall came down. And given the mood at Shea, some people appreciate this diversion. Whoops.
Well, don't lean too far. I would assume those are temporary seats, right? Well, see, they're back up temporarily.
Like so many dominoes falling as the ball rolled down the right field line. With the exception of the Boston-Cleveland series, which seemed like home run derby at times, most of the postseason games have been close, strategic battles, including in the American League, the first 2 games between the Red Sox and the Yankees, where every run is precious and where the moves made and not made by the managers come into play.
Don't be surprised if Bobby Valentine would hit and run here with Agbayani and Piazza at first base. And I think John, of course, I think Tom Glavine and the Braves are aware of that as well, because there's Benedict now. I think he may be taking it off. That's what happens sometimes. You try to surprise him, and Glavine decided to throw to first base, and that broke the rhythm.
Piazza a short lead, and Agbayani swings and misses. Perez throws behind him, and Mike dives back in.
And one reason you might want to hit and run in that situation is because Agbayani right there was pulled off of that pitch. And what happens when you put a runner in motion, the hitter stays there and he concentrates on just putting the bat on the ball rather than trying to drive the ball.
The 2-2. In the air, center field, turning is Andrew Jones. It won't carry to the track. He puts it away for the first out.
Third baseman, Robin Ventura.
Well, I think Agbayani was trying to go the other way, and this ball wasn't out over the plate. See right there, that ball is in the middle of the plate, and he was trying to go the other way with it, and he ended up pulling it to center field.
Now Robin Ventura, 0 for 2 tonight. Hitless in the series, called strike. He hit .301 for the season. He's playing with a banged up left shoulder, a balky left knee, and refuses to acknowledge any of it.
And you see they have not changed their pattern on him. Fastball on the outside corner. Fastball on the outside corner. They have not changed since the opening of this series. That's exactly the way they have pitched him.
And until he proves them wrong, I imagine they'll stay with it.
Well, he's going to have to adjust to what they're doing because they're not going to change.
That one's outside, not by much, 1-2. For the year, he's 6 for 51 against Atlanta. He hit .301 against the league with 32 homers and 120 RBIs. A line drive caught by Weiss. Piazza will get back. So nothing goes right for Ventura. He tries to go the opposite way in a bid for a hit, and Weiss robs him.
Well, he tried to make the adjustments that you have to make. If they're going to stay out there, you're going to have to go that way, or either go out and get it to pull it. So he keeps his front shoulder closed and goes that way, and that's just unlucky because if that ball's over Weiss's head, it's an extra base hit. Watch his front shoulder. See, it stays in there. And that's what you have to do if you're going to go to the outside to get it. And you see his disappointment there. And I don't blame him. He made a good effort to try to adjust to what Glavine was doing to him.
Now with 2 out and Piazza still at first, it's Melvin Mora. He has a pair of singles. He went to the opposite field both times. Ball 1. Valentine's team hasn't been pummeled, but they're down 0-2 in games and 1-0 here in the 6th of game 3. Down the stretch, when they lost 5 of 6 head-to-head to Atlanta, most of the games were close, but the end results almost always favored Atlanta.
The Braves only have 3 base hits in this ball game, and the Mets have 7.
Threw that one by him. 2-1, but all 7 Met hits are singles, and Glavine has walked only 1. He walked that guy Olerud, the second man he faced in the first inning.
In fact, Bob, every hit in this ball game has been a single.
In the air to left center field, Andrew Jones just glides over and takes it in his stride. He makes it look so easy. 6 in the books. Still 1-0 Braves.
During the series has been stealing signs. So he went over to Perez and he kind of wants him to hide it a little bit from some of the Mets players, particularly Ricky Henderson. Bob?
Jim, thanks a lot. Brian Jordan will start it in the top half of the 7th against Al Leiter. He'll be followed by Andrew Jones and Eddie Perez. Well, earlier this season, Bobby Valentine and the Mets were convinced that Chipper Jones was having pitches tipped off to him, in part explaining why he was on such a rampage against New York. That was their suspicion. Liner to left. Ricky's there. It almost sailed over his head.
Well, Bob, if you're a hitter, it's very difficult to steal signs. You can feel where the catcher's moving and guess what it is. As we see, this ball is really ripped to left field. He just didn't get under it. He hit it hard enough for a home run, but he didn't get under it enough. More of a line drive. Here's Ricky. He says, it's taken off on me, but I still have that vertical leap.
Andrew Jones is 0 for 2 and rolls 1 foul.
Bob, what some hitters will do when they're in the batter's box, we see Wendell getting loose in the Mets bullpen. You stand in the batter's box and you just kind of feel where the catcher moves. And if he moves inside, you know it's going to be something hard because you're going to throw a slow curve inside or a changeup. And if he moves away, then you say, well, he may be going to throw me a curveball. So that's how you steal the signs. You can't look back and see what he's giving. So I don't think that's what they're thinking about. But a lot of hitters kind of feel where the catcher's moving to, and they kind of peek. out of the corner of their eye to see where the catcher is, and that tells them what the pitch might be.
And the 0-2 pitch is way high and outside. Wendell is throwing because this is undoubtedly Leiter's last inning. Al is due to be the second hitter in the bottom of the 7th. Mets trail 1-0. In the dirt, 2-2. Craig Sager is down by the Met dugout, and he reports that Matt Franco, the Mets' best pinch hitter, has grabbed the bat. He's gone down into the runway to get loose, so we'll likely see him. Now he reappears in the dugout. We'll likely see him in the bottom half of the inning.
And why you would use your best pinch hitter in the 7th inning is because John Rocker is their closer, and you're not going to use him in the 9th. So you want to use him against Glavine, who doesn't give left-handed hitters a lot of problems.
Well, Leiter was ahead 0-2. Now the count is full. And Piazza got nicked again. A rough night behind the plate for him.
We've seen him get nicked a lot tonight, but just think over the course of a whole season, Bob, what a catcher has to go through. And that's one of the reasons why catchers have not hit for higher averages over their entire careers.
3-2 pitch, and we'll do it again. 2 perennial all-stars in each league belie that, the way Piazza hits while catching and the way Ivan Rodriguez of the Rangers hits while performing as a Gold Glove catcher. Another 3-2 pitch. Down and in, and he walks him.
You're getting to a very dangerous time of the ball game for the Mets. They're already trailing 1-0. They're down 2 games to none in the series. The pressure starts to build, and the fact is you cannot allow the Braves to get another run here, because that really puts you in a lot of trouble. So very important for Leiter to come back and maybe make a good pitch to Perez and get a double play. But he also has to hold Andrew Jones at first base. We haven't seen Piazza throw well this series.
Look at Eddie Perez. 6 hits in the series. This is a guy who had 249 for the year. 249 with 7 homers. He's homered twice already against the Mets in this series.
This is a situation where I believe that the Mets would be better served if Olerud would just stay at first base and hold him. Perez doesn't hit the ball that way, so you're really not covering the hole for any reason. And this will allow you to try to hold Andrew Jones closer, because I believe if you get off the base with the base runner, then you're giving a good base runner the edge.
The walk issued by Leiter to Jones was Leiter's 3rd of the night. He struck out 4.
Bob, let me finish that. If you get off the bag, Olerud gets off the bag, you can take off on the pitcher's first move. And if Olerud starts back toward first base and he throws over there, then he's running away from where the throw is going to come from, and it's going to be very difficult for him to catch it and then nail you at second base. So I think you can just take off. And that's the situation I'm talking about. If he throws over there like that, Olerud's running back towards first base. His momentum is going away from where he would have to throw. He'll catch the ball and then have to try to throw you out at second base, and I think it's impossible with a left-handed pitcher on the mound.
Also, although the chance may be slim, it's certainly greater when you're trying to hit a moving target. Right. You'll throw it away than when the guy is stationary.
Yeah, he's a moving target, and then he's got to stop and throw back to second base.
If you're just joining us, here is how the only run of this game was scored in the top half of the 1st inning. First, Al Leiter's throw pulls Olerud off the bag. Then with the runners going, Williams heading for 3rd. Piazza tries to get Boone at 2nd, throws it into center field. Williams scored on the play, and that's the game's only run. 2 Met errors in the 1st. This from the best fielding team in baseball history, at least statistically. Finally, Leiter works to Perez, who fouls it off. Al Leiter received some coaching this past year from Sandy Koufax. Helped him adjust his delivery a little bit. At one point in their conversation, Koufax asked Leiter what he's thinking about on a certain pitch, and Al said, outer half. Sandy said, no, never think outer half. Think a specific spot on the outside corner and throw through that spot. 1-2. And I'm sure that was helpful. But of course, not everybody's Sandy Koufax. And this foul tip again bounces up and bites Mike Piazza. It's not his night. Well, at least he got the chest protected. Leiter's ahead of Perez, 0-2. And misses. Koufax has been trying to teach, at least at one time he was, trying to teach John Franco how to throw a curveball. But Franco said, I had to give up. I can't get my fingers around the ball the way Sandy could. Can't make it snap that way.
It's a good 0-2 pitch here from Leiter, just off the plate outside. And you see Piazza pull it back.
Here's the 1-2. Struck him out. The 5th for Leiter.
Good pitch there by Leiter. The 0-2 pitch, he ran a fastball away. Got Perez looking toward the outside corner. And here he comes with a little slider breaking down and in. And Perez swings and misses it. Nice block there by Piazza. From catcher cam, you can see that this pitch goes down and in. Excellent 2-strike pitch from Leiter.
So Perez is gone, and here's Hunter, who's lined into a double play and walked. Fastball inside.
Hunter's a guy you really have to be careful with in this situation, Bob, because he could hit mediocre pitching. When Leiter was at the top of this game early in the ball game, throwing really well, he probably felt like he could handle him. But you lose a little bit off your fastball and your curve, and he can hurt you.
Inside again, 2-0. If Leiter gets out of this inning, he will have given the Mets 7 innings, allowing only 1 run. It was unearned, although his own error contributed to it. So again, he will have performed well in a big game, giving his team at least a chance to win.
And that's all you can ask for if you're Bobby Valentine. Give us a chance to win.
Line drive. Ordonez picks it off the ground. Took it on a line, and that'll do it. 7 innings of 3-hit ball thrown by Leiter, but he and the Mets trail it 1-0 lead since the first inning. Atlanta scored in the first without benefit of a hit. A walk, an error, a stolen base, another error, 1-0. Al Leiter is in the on-deck circle. Perhaps if Ordonez got on, they'd ask him to sacrifice, but I doubt it.
He's prating his bunny over there. He knows what he's going to do if he gets a chance to go to the plate. And that's probably the only way that he would stay in the ball game, is if Ordonez gets on.
He's not a bad bunter. He had 11 successful sacrifices. Sean Dunston has a bat just in case. Bounced foul, 1-2.
Dunston would hit if Ordonez makes an out, because you wouldn't use a pinch hitter to go up there to sacrifice Ordonez into scoring position. And you're down 1-0 in the 7th inning. If Ordonez gets on, you have to bunt him to second base.
So you hold Franco for a different situation later. 2-2. The Mets haven't been able to handle Glavine this year. He was 3-0 against Bobby Valentine's team, and his ERA against them was under 2. Popped out of play. Braves bullpen getting loose. Russ Springer unscored upon in his last 11 appearances. And Terry Mulholland, who pitched 8 innings this year against the Mets, and they didn't score against him. Tom Glavine didn't have one of his best seasons at 14-11. The league hit .287 against him, but the Mets in 3 full games hit just .225 against Glavine. And he strikes Ordonez out. The 7th K put in the book by Tom Glavine tonight.
It looked like a high breaking ball or backup slider or something. It didn't look like his regular fastball. Let's take a look here. That's a cut fastball. And Ordonez cannot catch up with it.
And despite the fact that he made an appearance in the on-deck circle, as we suspected, Leiter is done. 7 strong innings, 1 unearned run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 3 measly hits allowed, all of them singles. Now John Franco getting loose. Matt Franco stays on the bench. Sean Dunston comes up to pinch hit for Leiter.
Leiter, I mean, he did everything he could possibly do. The only mistake he made was when he threw the ball away in the first inning, and when he struck out on ball 4 in the 2nd inning. Other than that, he did a very, very good job.
So here's Dunston, who hit .321 for the year, taking ball 1. Began the season with the Cardinals, then was dealt here to New York, back home in a sense. He was a terrific high school player at Thomas Jefferson High in Brooklyn.
He was the #1 pick in the nation from this area.
Chases one out of the strike zone, a ball and a strike.
We've talked about the fact that sometimes you move up on the plate and you look for the ball out there. Well, when you do that, you also move the plate. See how far this pitch is off the plate? Watch, this pitch will be way out here, but because Dunston's going that way, he still thinks it's a strike. See, the plate moves with you when you move in the batter's box. You have to be able to distinguish, say, I'm going to move up, but I'm not going to move the plate away from me.
If the plate had moved any farther outside, it would have been in Valentine's lap in the Mets dugout. The 2-1. And the count levels at 2-2. Dunston and Glavine have been around the National League a long time. Sean has 41 career at-bats against Glavine with 9 hits.
There was an interesting story in the paper when I was here the final day of the season about Sean Dunston as his father, Jack. His father drove him to every game when he was a little leaguer and all through high school. And now he's back with the Mets. He's driven him every day to Shea Stadium this year.
The 2-2 pitch, squibbed foul. Isn't his dad a professional limo driver? I think that's his job, actually. I could be wrong, but I think I remember hearing that at one time, that he's a limo driver. So might as well take his son to the game in style.
Well, he definitely drives him every day to Shea Stadium, and he drove him every day to Little League, American Legion, everything else he played.
I don't know if you want to arrive at a Little League game in a stretch, though.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a stretch now. That's you stretching it. I'm just saying that.
Well, I've been known to do that. The 2-2. A swing and a miss. It gets away. Dunston heads for first. The second time it's happened tonight. Once to each team.
The difference is this will be a pass ball. The other one was a wild pitch. I actually thought it was a foul tip by the way that Perez reacted. See that ball? He missed the ball completely. It's like he lost it and the ball hit off the side of his body. I don't know if he was expecting a different pitch or not as Dunston makes it to first base. Now watch where this ball hits Perez. Watch, he doesn't even get a glove on it. Look at that. I mean, the ball hits the bottom of his glove and goes past. I mean, I've never seen a catcher try to catch the ball with the glove facing up like that. You face the glove up when you're expecting a breaking ball.
Leiter likes it. Strikeout and a pass ball officially. Here's Henderson. 1 for 3 against Glavine. First pitch swinging right field. Jordan in his tracks for the catch.
And that's what Tom Glavine has done tonight. He's been very, very smart in what he's doing. Ricky Henderson moved up on the plate again there, and he came inside again.
There are 2 outs now, and here's how the second out came about. On the first pitch, Henderson flying out to Jordan and right. But if the Mets should rally in this inning, some old-timer will definitely bring up the name of Mickey Owen and his dropped third strike, which actually would have ended the game in the 1941 World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. One of those Subway series that many New Yorkers are hoping will be reprised this year. But the Yanks are up 2-0 on the Red Sox, and the Mets are down 0-2 against the Braves.
And Sean Dunston can steal a base. He still runs very well. So this is an opportunity where he can try to pick a pitch and steal second base to get himself in the scoring position.
Olerud 1 for 2 with a walk. Leiter has already been pinch hit for. Tom Glavine is the second scheduled hitter in the top half of the 8th inning for Atlanta, so this might be his last inning. Here's the 0-1. A ball and a strike.
You see Mookie Wilson talking to Sean Dunston at first base. I think he's trying to help him to read Tom Glavine. Mookie Wilson was a pretty good base stealer in his day.
Two and one.
You watch the last pitch, Glavine really didn't stop. He started his motion to the plate while he was bringing his hands together into a set position. Like I said, he does a good job of varying his delivery and keeping the base runner off balance at first base.
The runner goes. The throw from Perez. Got him. So Dunston got on a gift, but he's pegged out by Perez to end the inning.
Now watch when he takes off. Glavine makes a move. Look at this. He's already there. Dunston is just now starting to go. So what he's telling me is he's trying to steal this base on the catcher, not the pitcher, because you see how far the ball's already been released almost when he takes off for second base. Now take a look at the break again and watch. Now watch how quickly the ball is on its way to the plate. Look at that. Now he takes off. And he's counting on Perez making a poor throw in order for him to make it. See, there are a lot of ways to steal bases off left-handed pitchers. You get a lead and you take off on their first movement. As soon as they start, you take off. And that's the way a lot of guys steal bases against left-handed pitchers, if you're having trouble reading which way they're going.
John Franco out of the Met bullpen. A kid who grew up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, home of Ralph Cramden and the Honeymooners, as I recall. The son of a city sanitation man, he recalls taking the B train to 42nd Street, transferring to the 7 to come to Shea with his buddies Lumpy and Buckteeth. That's the truth. He says he, Lumpy, and Buckteeth used to clip coupons off the back of milk cartons, and when they got 20, they got free Met tickets. Now here he is in a Met uniform in the postseason. Walt Weiss leads it off against him in the 8th.
And it appears that Tom Glavine's night is finished.
Yeah, Howard Battle is in the on-deck circle. A ball and a strike. Franco is the longtime Met closer. In fact, he began this year as their finisher, saved 19 of 21 possible saves. And then when an injured finger on his pitching hand forced him to the disabled list, he lost that role to Armando Benitez. But he's come back to pitch effectively. He was the winning pitcher in their Game 4 divisional series win over Arizona last Saturday, the series clincher. Three and one. That one misses the outside corner, and Franco starts his stint with a walk.
They take Battle back, and they're going to send Glavine up to bunt. So Battle was going to pinch hit if no one was on base, but now that they have a runner at first, Glavine's going to go up and try to sacrifice him to second base. There's Battle as he sits back down.
He may still be out of the game, but they may figure he's as good a guy to bunt as they have, and why burn a pinch hitter? Glavine had 7 successful sacrifices this year. Squares, gets it down. Franco will make the play, doesn't even look at second. Alfonso covering, score at 1-4.
Great job there by Glavine.
And another view from the Bud 1 airship. Budweiser is, as you know by now, the official beer of Major League Baseball and the National League Championship Series.
And the thing to remember about this entire series, the Braves have executed very well when they've had to. They have sacrificed runners when they were up there to bunt, and the Mets have not been able to execute the bunts and other plays as they did during the regular season. And I think they're taking some time here to give the bullpen a chance to get ready. There you see Armando Benitez in the bullpen warming up. And I think the reason he's doing that is because Bobby knows that he cannot give up another run here. You've got to be able to hold the line right here because you only have 6 outs left.
Gerald Williams, a right-handed hitter, steps in. Another righty swinger. Brett Boone is on deck. And after the delay, Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, goes to the mound. So they took up as much time as they possibly could. And Wallace taking his own sweet time, sauntering to the mound. Heat right past him.
And that, again, got Piazza. That's that bad thumb. And he caught that ball. He didn't catch it in the pocket. Look at his thumb. You can see it trembling right there. When a guy is throwing 95, 96 miles an hour, you have to catch that ball right in the glove web. And you can see the pressure it went on his.
Did Williams get him on the backswing on top of it?
Let's take a look. Yes. Looked like it got him on the wrist rather than the thumb, but when you've got a sore thumb, everything hurts when it hits you on that side. And this has been just a very difficult day for Mike Piazza. Take a look. Right on the wrist.
So you got a bad thumb. It's throbbing already. You got a guy in there who hit triple digits on the radar gun in Atlanta earlier in this series. Somebody whacks you with the backswing. Benitez turns and doesn't throw. Piazza earlier, according to our reports, suffered a mild concussion when Brett Boone leveled him at the plate, although Piazza held on to the ball for the out. He's in line for combat pay. Bracing himself for another one from Benitez. They wave it off. No pitch. No pitch. Charlie Relaford waved it off. It would have been strike 2.
Well, he called timeout for some reason. We can't see Gerald Williams. Maybe he's requesting timeout. You can't see if he was requesting timeout or not. But once a guy starts his delivery, you shouldn't call timeout.
I didn't see any request. Did you?
Well, you couldn't tell, but you know, you see his face. But I mean, even if he was requesting it, that's too late.
So this is the 0-1 pitch, and this is strike 2.
Let's see if we can find out if Gerald Williams was requesting time. You hear it? Yeah, he called time, but again, that's a little late.
The 0-2. Pop back, and Williams hangs in. These days, this is a rare appearance in the 8th inning for Armando Benitez. At the beginning of the year, when he was the setup man, Shea fans were calling him the 8th wonder because he kept coming in the 8th inning and just blowing people away. He has faced 18 Atlanta hitters this year in 6 innings of work, and none of them has reached base. 18 up, 18 down, 11 of them strikeouts. And Weiss skips back to second, carrying a possible insurance run for Bobby Cox. And Williams swings on the pitch up and in, lofts it into shallow left center. Mora over with Henderson, and the center fielder Mora makes the catch. That's the second out in the Atlanta 8th. Baseball tomorrow starts on Fox, 4 Eastern time. Dream matchup at Fenway Park. As if the Yankees and Red Sox with any personnel isn't enough with the rivalry they have. In this case, it's Roger Clemens against Pedro Martinez. Then we're back out here at Shea. The Braves will use John Smoltz. The Mets scheduled to go with Rick Reed, although Reed has had flu symptoms this week, but they think he'll be ready. That's the Game 4 matchup here in the NLCS.
4 pretty good pitchers.
Boone's 0 for 3. Strike 1. Pair of lefties, Remlinger and Rocker. No R&R for the visitors, I'll tell you that. When neither of those two comes in, especially Rocker. Up and into Boone.
I mean, this is a fastball that just sounds real hard. Look at this. Up and in. And Boone takes it.
You can hear Piazza's glove hop all over the ballpark, but that one missed. 2-1.
97 mile an hour. Fastball towards the outside corner.
Again up and in. 3 balls and a strike. Chipper Jones awaiting his turn. Cuts and misses, full count. Benitez trying to keep it a 1-run game as the Braves hit in the 8th. And he does just that. Still no Atlanta hitter has reached base against Armando Benitez this year.
That's hard to hit. And this is Mike Piazza in between innings. They're over there working on his hand. Remember, he was hit on the left wrist by the backswing of Gerald Williams. And you see the trainers trying to check on him, and he's a third. Oh, you see him a lot of pain right there toward his last finger on his left hand, and he's the third hitter this inning.
Mike Remlinger out of the Atlanta bullpen, the former Met, who came to Atlanta along with Brett Boone from Cincinnati in the deal that sent Denny Nagel and Michael Tucker to the Reds. Remlinger was 10-1 this year. He faces Olerud and starts him with a strike. Now we'll see, first with Remlinger and perhaps later with Rocker, whether breaking up the left-handed hitters pays any dividends in the late innings for Bobby Valentine as he reworked his lineup for Game 3. Olerud hits it hard, but right at Boone.
He got a breaking ball and he just ripped it, but Boone was planning perfectly at second base and he was able to make the play. It's a curveball. He stays right on it and he rips it, but you see Boone perfectly positioned there at second base. Look at this, right there at second base. And he hits it right at him, doesn't even have to move.
Here's Alfonso. Struck out twice, fly to right against Glavine. Strike one from Remlinger. While he was in there, Glavine worked 7 innings. No runs. Allowed 7 hits, all of them singles. Struck out 8, walked 1.
Bob, you asked, we'll see if this lineup change helped. It definitely helped because it makes Bobby Cox have to have a game plan of his own and think before he brings Rocker in, or think about who he's going to use here in the 8th inning. See, that's what I'm talking about. He still has 2 people throwing, whereas before there's 3. There's Springer. He's just kind of resting there after throwing, but before he would only have John Rocker down there and one other.
2 balls and a strike. Piazza on deck.
He'd always know basically how he was going to use his pitchers, but because they have split these left-handers up, now he's got to make some other decisions.
Remlinger went upstairs and threw it by Alfonso. Remlinger was excellent all year long. 10-1. His ERA was 2.37. This from a guy whose career record entering this season was 19-31. His 2-2 pitch. Outside, full count. Whether it's 1-0 in the playoffs or 10-0 in spring training, Leo Mazzoni just keeps rocking back and forth next to Bobby Cox. And Alfonso goes down swinging the 3rd time he has fanned tonight. Well, he certainly didn't benefit by switching from second to third. As Piazza steps up, we go to Craig Sager.
Well, as you guys noted earlier, it was the bat of Gerald Williams that hit the left hand of Mike Piazza. The trainer looked at it. It is a bruise. It has already begun to swell. Now, obviously, this is not his throwing hand, but when it comes to bat, that is his power hand. So he's got a sore thumb on one side and a bruise on the other.
And he bats now with 2 out on the bases empty and takes a ball.
And when he was warming up in the on-deck circle, loosening up with the bat, he was doing it with one hand, his right hand. He wasn't even putting his left hand on the bat.
In the air to right center field. It sounded good off the bat, but it won't make the track. Brian Jordan is there to squeeze it. And Atlanta is 3 outs away from a 3-0 lead in this series. Against Benitez in the 9th. The Braves scored in the top of the 1st. 1-0 has been the score ever since. Chipper's 1 for 3. And a ball from Benitez. When Chipper Jones made his comments about Met fans going home and putting on their Yankee gear, they're done for the year, part of it was his annoyance at Benitez. Explain that after this pitch, which is fouled back. The remarks by Chipper came immediately after a game in which Benitez had struck him out, pumped his fist, and pointed at him. Now, that kind of display is pretty much standard around sports these days, but Chipper didn't appreciate it. The 1-1. Got the inside edge. Still 1-2.
And you can see they're trying to get the fastball in on Chipper. but he also has a good splitter.
He's varied the speed on his slider and that splitter or forkball to differentiate it more from the fastball. And he gets the called third strike with the delayed call for dramatic effect by Charlie Relaford, the plate umpire.
And that was a splitter over the outside part of the plate. There you see the tumble, and it tumbles to the outside part of the plate. And Charlie Relaford said that's strike 3.
And it looks like he was right. A ball to Brian Jordan. Benitez has now set down all 21 Atlanta Braves he's faced this year, while fanning 13 of them. Threw it right by him. That's the sort of thing that leaves the opposition in no mood to put up with any display by the pitcher, any pointing of fingers or pumping of fists. A little easier to take when you've had some success. You're less tolerant with this sort of result. 1-2.
Funny thing about trying to hit a guy that throws 95, 96 miles an hour, you have a tendency to swing hard to try to catch up with it instead of quicker.
He's got Jordan set up 1-2. And that one just missed. If we see Rocker in the 9th, as seems certain, Valentine will have a decision to make. Ventura is the second scheduled hitter. He's had 5 at-bats against Rocker in his life, and he struck out all 5 times. You don't usually hit for a regular who's been that productive. Down goes Jordan. But in this situation, Valentine may have to go to special lengths.
The center fielder, Andrew Jones.
Now to the play of the game, brought to you by Merrill Lynch. Succeed on your own terms with Merrill Lynch Unlimited Advantage. It came in the first. Fly ball to center. Melvin Mora with the catch. Brett Boone tags, tries to score, wallops Piazza, who holds on for the out on the double play. A strike to Andrew Jones as Benitez tries to strike out the side, and if he does, that'll mean he fanned 4 of the 5 hitters he faced. And he's 1 strike away from doing that.
Well, Andrew Jones, pretty good fastball hitter, and he couldn't catch up with that one.
It looks like the drama many have anticipated is setting up. Rocker's going to come on the 9th, likely to protect a 1-run lead, and the fans are going to let him hear it. At least he put his bat on the ball. Mora is there to make the catch. 23 straight Braves retired by Benitez this season. Here comes Rocker. He's like some sort of pumped up action hero. In fact, he lists pro wrestlers among his heroes. Young lefty who says he likes to pitch in hostile surroundings. He'll be 25 on Sunday. If this series goes 5 games, what a place for him to celebrate his birthday in the city where he is most despised.
And the only thing that could affect Rocker if he tries to overthrow coming into this ball game, and we'll see if he has a problem keeping his emotions intact.
Bayani was 0 for 3 against Glavine. Rocker starts him with a strike. Todd Pratt is on deck. It's not often that you hit for someone who batted .300 with 32 homers and 120 RBIs as Ventura did, but Valentine can't mess around. Ventura hasn't been able to smell Rocker all year. Can't even put a bat on the ball. Up the middle, but it bounces nicely to Weiss, who juggles it, recovers. Safe. Weiss got a good hop, but mishandled it.
Brian Hunter still thought they had him at first base. This looked like a base hit all the way, but watch, it hits the mound and slows down right there. That slows the hop. Weiss gets a big hop, but he tries to one-hand it, misses it. And the throw to first base, very close play at first base. Now watch, he gets a big hop, just bounces out of his glove, hits him on the heel. And it looks like the correct call at first base, but it's such a close play, we'll have to get another look at it. Good hustle there by Glavine, you can see, and it is a correct call. There's Weiss at shortstop. He thought he still had him, but you can see there, very close play, but Kellogg got it. Ed Rapuano got it correct.
Good call by Rapuano. So Pratt for Ventura. Todd hit .293 during the regular year with 3 home runs. He had a pinch hit in the 9th inning, an RBI single in game 1 of this series.
And a tough question here. Do you bunt if you're Bobby Valentine? I mean, what do you do here? You're at the bottom of the order.
If so, should he send up somebody who's likely a better bunter than Pratt?
Yeah, well, that would be what you might think, so it tells you that he's probably going to let him hit away. But I think he's letting him hit away simply because you're at the border.
A swing and a miss.
And Rocker doesn't come with the good fastball. Throws him a changeup first pitch. And Pratt was way out in front.
It's not just that they're at the bottom of the order, but Hamilton and Franco, 2 left-handed pinch hit possibilities, and you got the lefty Rocker out there. And the switch hitters, Bonilla and Cedeno, don't hit as well right-handed. Bobby doesn't like to use them from the right side.
Yeah, if he was thinking about bunting, Hamilton is the guy because he is a good bunter. If he was thinking about bunting, Hamilton could get the job done. So he decided, I'm going to have to let Pratt swing away.
Pratt is 2 for 3 in his career against Rocker. Biggest moment of his baseball life happened 6 days ago in this ballpark. Extra inning home run against Arizona. It won game 4 and the series with it. Among the many things Rocker has said about Met fans is that they're stupid. We've beaten them 20 of 26. They still won't shut up. They still think we stink. They're a tired act, said Rocker. His 0-2 pitch. Well, that'll quiet them down a little bit. Pratt chased it up the ladder and goes down on strikes.
I mean, this is some real high heat right here. Rocker started him with a changeup, and he fires a 96-mile-an-hour fastball about chest high. And it's hard to catch up with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball up around your letters. He just throws it right by him. And so far, it doesn't look like the crowd or anything else has affected Rocker. Todd Pratt scratching his head, and I couldn't handle that pitch.
Melvin Mora 2 for 3. Taking a ball. Let me ask you this. Roger Cedeno, who stole 66 bases and can fly, is on the Met bench. He can also play right field if the game is extended. Why isn't he running for Glavine?
Very good question.
A ball and a strike as Mora fouls it off.
Tell you what, Mora had a very good cut there. He was right on that fastball. There's Al Leiter. Watch this swing by Moore. I mean, he's right there. Look at that. That's a beautiful swing right underneath it. And he's upset that he missed that one.
Ordonez is on deck. Another possible 9th inning pinch hit situation involving Ordonez. Will he or won't he? Speaking of Valentine, Mora steps out. Rocker had vowed that not only Ordonez is in the on-deck circle, and there are Valentine's pinch hit possibilities. Rocker had vowed that not only wouldn't he be upset by this environment, he'd thrive in it. He likes it this way, he said. 2 balls and a strike.
The more you see of Melvin Moore, the more you like him, Bob. I mean, he plays the outfield well, he runs well, and he swings the bat well when given the opportunity.
If Valentine loses this, how galling will it be? Atlanta has but 3 hits, and on 2 of them, Ricky Henderson threw out the runner trying to stretch it into a double. Atlanta scored without a hit in the first, and the 1-0 lead stands up into the 9th. Mets have 7 hits, but nothing to show for it. 3 balls and a strike.
This is a breaking ball down and in, and I think that tells you that Rocker recognized that Mora was right on the fastball that he threw as well. So he wanted to go with something other than a fastball and a fastball count. But he's going to have to give him a fastball here.
And he hits it in the air to center. Jones going back, edge of the track, and that's the 2nd out.
Well, Mora had a good swing, hit it on the good part of the bat. He just got under it a little bit. Good at bat by Mora. He just couldn't get it out of the ballpark. There's a 3-1 fastball. And look, Mora's right on it. Gets under it just enough to keep it in the ballpark.
Mora's disappointment as he returns to the dugout, and Ordonez will bat for himself. Roger Cedeno moves into the on-deck circle to hit for Benitez.
Maybe that explains to you and me why Cedeno's not pinch running at first base. He wants to use him to pinch hit if he gets that far.
And he may not get that far. Hit softly toward the middle of the diamond. Weiss plays it, steps on the bag. And the Braves are 1 victory from their 5th trip to the World Series in this decade. All the games have been close. 4-2, 4-3, and 1-0. But they've all gone to Atlanta. Winners of 21 of their last 27 against the Mets. Mike Piazza said between games 2 and 3, I'd still take our team over theirs. But by the results, that statement is hard to justify.
The winning pitcher, Tom Glavine. The losing pitcher, Leiter. The save to John Rocker.
Glavine is the winner, Rocker with the save, and a tough loss for Leiter. The Chevrolet player of the game is Tom Glavine. He worked 7 good innings, and there's his line. 55,911 file out in disappointment. Not only did they have to swallow a defeat, but they had to watch John Rocker finish it. Once again, the final score, the Braves 1 and the Mets 0. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern, Game 4 of the NLCS. With the Mets just trying to stay alive. Coming up after your late local news, it's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Tonight, Jay welcomes Kevin Spacey and the music of Blink-182. And for our viewers on the West Coast, stay tuned for a short post-game show. For Joe Morgan, Jim Gray, and Craig Sager, I'm Bob Costas. This is NBC, home of the 1999 World Series. And from Shea Stadium in New York, so long, everybody.